a beautiful weekend. I think we're having our first bout with spring, although I bet it will turn and it's just a teaser spring. But today is the first day of Women's History Month. And so we thought to kick off Women's History Month, we would have our first March town hall be dedicated to empowering women in real estate and their perspectives. And so I'm super excited. I have a great panel today. But before I get started, we have something super fun on the docket for March for Corcoran Global Living. And so we have Brandon Cobb, who is one of our vice presidents of marketing in San Diego, and he's going to share a super exciting contest that we're going to have for the month of March. So take it away, Brandon.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. And cheers to all the amazing women of Corcoran Global Living and all the wonderful panelists we'll be hearing from today. As our family grows, we want to take some time to have some family fun. So with that being said, and today being March 1st, I'm here to announce a contest we will be having company-wide, and it's for all associates and all staff surrounding the March Madness basketball tournament. If we can pop that graphic up, please. And everyone will receive a link to fill out a bracket by Monday, March 15th. At that time, go in and make your team selections. We will have our own Corcoran Global Living League, and where you'll be able to see the results and standings amongst just us. Then what do you win? Well, we have a great grand prize for a trip for two to Las Vegas. Includes full travel and accommodations with various entertainment and relaxation throughout. And then as well as we have 10 next runner-up prizes where we're going to provide a variety of CGL swag. So please mark your calendars and get ready for some fun. Game on, and thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Fun. So I want to make a note that this is for all sales associates and staff. Super exciting. This is an internal contest, so we can have good smack talk going back and forth, I'm sure, right, Brandon? And
absolutely, that's going to be part of the fun, is sharing some of the standings and rankings as we go throughout, and just seeing exactly the smack talk and just some family fun. So
I think I'm going to have to tap my teenage and young adult boys to help me with that. In the true spirit of Women History Month, I need their help for that. Anyway, all right, so to jump in, so it was interesting. I was doing some research on what is Women's History Month, right? When did it start? And it actually started in our own backyard. So it started actually in Santa Rosa, California. So shout out for Betsy, who's in the North Bay there, and all of our fellow Corcoran Global Living sales associates up there. The Education Task Force of the Sonoma County Commission on the Status of Women planned to have a Women History Week, and this was back in 1978. I thought that was interesting. They selected this week. Actually, March 8th is officially International Women's Day. And so they created this movement around that, and it really quickly took off. And so you see a lot of companies now celebrating Women's History Month in the month of March. So speaking of which, Corcoran Group in New York City was founded in 1973, as you all know, by Barbara Corcoran, our famed leader from the Shark Tank. She was only 23 years old. And she did this with a $1,000 loan, I think, from a boyfriend to start her company. And it quickly took off and grew. So, you know, one of the things, I joined Corcoran in October. And one thing that really attracted me to the company was not only its founding roots and the story and the female empowerment angle of this, but then also to see Corcoran Global Living and in our start, what it has meant to empower women in leadership. So, you know, if you look at NAR statistics, right? NAR, 64% of all realtors are women, are female, and they're female, and they the average is a 55-year-old female who attended college as a homeowner. That's the kind of the average realtor with NAR. Unfortunately, in leadership, that's not the case. And that's really interesting. And so what we want to talk about today is what we can do to empower women for leadership, but as well as just talk about women in the industry in general, because while we dominate this industry, there's still struggles along the way. So do you know that when the NAR started in 1908, it was all male? No women could join the National Association of Realtors. And it wasn't until 1938 that there became the Women's Council of Realtors, and our very own Sherry Seda. You were what, the 2020 Women's Council of Realtors president? Down in what district was that?
LA, Beverly Hills.
Yeah. So two organizations, very strong, very important. So anyhow, I want to introduce our panelists today. So let's start with Sherry Seda first. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have you introduce yourself. So Sherry is actually a managing partner of the West Side office and down in our Manhattan Beach area in Southern California. So Sherry, give us a little background on you.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Seda. I'm the managing partner for 2 offices down in Southern California. I manage those offices with my business partner, Tom Swanson. We had our brokerage in West LA for since 2007. When everybody was closing down, we opened our own brokerage. And we were very successful, and we joined Corcoran in November of 2019 with 120 agents. And now we have our Westwood office, and also we also have Manhattan Beach office that we are managing. And we are very happy to be with Corcoran because I think we made a very good move. When we opened our offices in 2007, everybody thought we were crazy because everybody was closing down, and we had the vision, we had the goal, you know. And it happened the same with Corcoran. When we joined Corcoran, we had the same vision, we had the same goal. So that's why we joined Corcoran in November of 2020. And we are very happy for making this decision and joining Corcoran.
And one of the things I really admire about Sherry is her path. So she has been a sales associate and really has then entered into leadership. And so I thought you were a great addition to this panel, Sherry.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been in real estate for more than 25 years. I'm not going to tell you how many, but I joined, I joined Coldwell Banker. I was there a few years, and then I thought, you know what, I can do more than just being a sales associate. So I became team leader with John Douglas, and I became the assistant of the sales manager. And then I was very successful with John Douglas. If you remember John Douglas, anybody remembers John Douglas? And then I moved to Exclusive Realtors, and I took my leadership over there. And soon I became a sales manager for the office in Westwood. And beside that, I thought, you know, I can do more for women in real estate. So I joined the Women's Council of Realtors in LA, Beverly Hills, and I became the president of this organization in 2020. And I'm also involved with the professional standard, and also I'm the chair of the cultural diversity, because I love diversity, you know. So, and I've been very active with Woman Up, and I think I'm going to be on the stage for 2021. And I also have the honor of being a CAR director for 2021.
All right. Thank you, Sherry. So next I have Betsy Serafini, and Betsy is actually our Vice President of Sales for Sonoma and Napa counties. I've really enjoyed getting to know Betsy. I think she has tremendous future potential. She's actually started with her real estate career in 2003 and then joined the founding partners of Terra Firma in 2010 to help them build and develop that regional startup. So Betsy, you want to give a little bit more color to you?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. You can all tell that I'm Italian because I'm always waving my hands around. Can't help it. But yeah, I started in the industry. I'm actually what's known as a real estate brat. My father had been in the industry for years, and so I was working in his offices, stuffing envelopes, doing mailers. So after graduating from high school and starting my own family, I decided to get into real estate and kind of followed along a different path. I did start with Coldwell Banker as well, and moved around a couple different smaller brokerages to kind of learn what independents were all about, and joined Bill and Heidi at Terra Firma in 2010 when they started that company. And so it's been really fun. I've kind of done things from the backside. I've worked a lot more on the operations, developing systems and putting technology pieces into place. So I've been out in the field, I've been on the back end, I've been on the support end. I've also owned my own businesses in the past. So it's just kind of natural for me to go this direction, really. So I love the people that I work with. Super excited to join Corcoran in, I think it was August when we transitioned from Terra Firma to Corcoran. Met some super amazing people, which has been a lot of fun. And I'm super happy. I can't even tell you. People have been like, how do you like your new job? And I said, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's been so much fun.
And it's been a real fun to watch you stretch into that new role that you're taking on, Betsy. So there you go. And by the way, Lauren Thompson says Betsy is the opposite of Brett. So by the way, Randall Kostick, our very own Chief Risk Officer, is on to help us with the Q&A and if there's anything, questions that come up in the chat. So thank you, Randall, for being our leader today. All right, next up we have Kristin Waite. So again, I wanted to have Sherry and Betsy on from that field leadership perspective, but Kristin actually is with us as our lead legal counsel. I'm probably not getting your title right. General counsel. You just have general counsel.
Big difference.
We'll make it up. All right. So Kristin actually is on our senior leadership team, and she's smart as a whip, man. Let me tell you, I really enjoy getting to know Kristin. But Kristin, tell us a little bit of a story of how you got into the real estate industry from a law perspective.
Sure. So I just transitioned over to CGL about 2-3 months ago. For the last 4 years before that, I was part of Project Benny, which was the Southern California and Ontario offices. I was their kind of first and only in-house counsel that they ever had, really handling everything and anything legally. Transitioning to that job was honestly kind of a leap of faith for me. Prior to that, I was in a big national law firm handling civil litigation as a senior associate. And honestly, I think this is a great connection to Women's History Month for me, because part of the reason why I transitioned from that large law firm environment into in-house real estate environment was really for the work-life balance and also for the inclusivity. I was at a great law firm that, was making really good money, but it was also the kind of firm where if you couldn't cover a deposition that wasn't finishing until 7 o'clock on Friday night, they were asking you why. What are you busy with? Well, sorry, I have other things. If you were getting married and taking a week off, they would want to know if you had billed an extra week's worth in the month before that. So I think that was honestly part of the reason for me to transition over, is looking for something that was a little more inclusive of women, a little more inclusive of work-life balance. I intentionally waited to have children until I made that transition because of the concern of not being able to spend time with them and that sort of thing. I have a 2-year-old now. She's adorable. Otherwise too, let's see, personally, I'm a lifetime member of Girl Scouts. I've been a leader on and off over the years. And I'm just a huge believer in female empowerment and really inclusivity.
Thank you. I didn't know the Girl Scout angle.
Yeah, for my whole life, I was started as a brownie and went all the way through getting my gold award. I was a leader before. I'm not one now, but I probably will be in 2.5 more years.
Yeah, you will.
To be a daisy. We're a big scouting family in my family.
I was a Daisy Scout leader too. And I share my birthday, March 12th, is the same day as the Girl Scouts of America's birthday. There you go. Now y'all know.
That's wonderful.
All right. So up next we have, let's go to Maria Rosales Ceja. And Maria is actually a sales associate out of our Southern California. She's actually in Bakersfield, and she's a partner along with her husband, and she's a mom. And so Maria, give us a little bit of backstory on you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me on this panel. I'm super excited to, be on here with you guys. My background is in financial services. I was in the banking industry. And then when I graduated college, I was in human resources for a few years. I decided to do something that would give me more freedom for my husband and I. So real estate was the place to go. Now we've been in real estate together for 6 years. We have a team out of Bakersfield, California, and we love what we do. It gives us a really good balance to run our business and grow every single year, and also grow our family. So we love it. We love being in real estate.
Thank you, Maria. So, and then finally we have Michelle Elliott. And Michelle Elliott is actually a sales associate out of Silicon Valley. And I have known and worked with Michelle for a very long time. And one of the things I really admire about Michelle is she's a very global thinker when it comes to diversity in real estate, empowering women in real estate. And she's a mom to 3 boys. I'm telling your whole story here. And I thought she could absolutely bring something very dynamic to this panel. So you can give a little bit more backstory on yourself, Michelle?
I mean, that was a pretty good introduction. Thank you, Nancy. I have worked with Nancy for many years. She is an awesome leader in our industry. She is definitely one of those that if you have had the chance to hear her speak, she's very empowering to everyone in real estate, but especially to women. And it has been such a pleasure to see her grow in her career over the years as well. So Nancy Robinson was actually one of the first people to really come to me in real estate. I started, actually the first week I started in real estate, I found out I was pregnant with my first child. So when I was kind of thinking of going through going to law school. And it's funny, Kristin, that you mentioned that, because it is a really stressful job for a young family. And a lot of people in my family are attorneys. And I kind of decided to take another path because we did want to grow our family. And Nancy Robinson, I met her kind of early on in my career. I've been in 15 years. And she really said, you know, you really have something here. And she's helped me, craft that career. And it's been a great job for me and for our family, and place that I see positive changes in our industry, and I'm happy to be part of that. So this panel is something amazing that I think is going to benefit all of us in the industry. So thank you. And thank you guys all. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, so I have some questions, but this is also just a very open dialogue, because again, this is about what we can do as leaders in this industry to empower women and empower everyone. And it's just not women, but really to look to empowering people. So let me ask you this: as we're starting out, you know, one of the things that I personally sometimes felt is that I don't think our industry intentionally, especially in more recent years, intentionally tried to push women out. But there seemed to be an unconscious bias at times. It was as if that we had to work harder. And, to your point, Kristin, you were wanting to start a family, you were having to make justifications for not being solely focused on work. So let me ask you this: have you experienced unconscious bias in your work? And do you think it was outside the industry, or do you think it was dominated inside the industry? And what have you done, or what can we do to overcome it? And I'm asking in general, so jump in, whoever wants to take that one on.
I would say I've experienced not only unconscious, but fully conscious bias in my industry. I took the bar exam the week I turned 25. So by the time I was 26, I was handling multi-million-dollar litigation. I had been called young lady in a professional setting before, let's put it that way. And that kind of thing just is not okay. Makes you want to respond with, okay, old man. The way that I've largely handled it is just by trying to be the most prepared person in the room, so that when you are walking into a room full of, in the legal industry, it's largely male, largely middle age or older men who've been doing it since before I was born, so some of them. That way you can keep up and frankly surpass them. There's a big difference between doing something and doing something well. And I very quickly learned that just because some people had been doing it longer and felt that they were doing it better, that didn't necessarily mean that they were. So that's kind of been my strategy all along, is just to try to be as prepared and as educated as possible.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I felt like I was doing my entire career, my last career, I was a regional vice president, and I managed a lot of men, and I had to continuously remind them to not call people or staff the ladies or the girls up front, or right. It was like they're people. They're you know, it's, you can call them by name, but referring to them by a gender isn't okay in the workplace. I don't refer to them as the guys, right? So that was super important to me, is to try to, and again, I personally think it was unconscious. I don't want to believe that they did it consciously to be derogatory. You know, in their minds, in a way, they were trying to be respectful because it was the ladies at times, but it really, you know, those kinds of things to make it more neutral like that, I think is really important. So anybody else on the unconscious bias front?
I can share mine.
Yeah.
I agree with Kristin. I think it was very conscious as well. Also, you know, being young in the business and being so new to the business, we found other brokers liking our book of business, liking what we do, liking our volume that we produce. So we were offered an opportunity to partner up with a broker here in town, and they said, we want you to come over, but just your husband. You're a woman. We don't want you on the table. At home, my wife gives me feedback, but she does not make any decisions. So we expect the same here. So obviously we turned it down. So that's the beautiful thing that we have with my husband and I. We respect each other as partners, and if it's not both of us, it's none of us. So that's when we made the move to Antero.
There you go. Wow. That is not an unconscious bias. That is a full conscious bias. You know,
Yeah.
I'll never forget, very early in my career, I had a big sale. And I remember a friend of mine and made a comment. She's like, "Oh, now you can remodel your kitchen." And I'm thinking to myself, she really assumed that my income was just ancillary in the family, right? And she just made that assumption, and it's one that wasn't a good assumption to make, because no, and in fact, this is, you know, we need this income for our family. And I just remember being annoyed by that there was an assumption that this was just a fun career for me, or a part-time career, or just testing it out, right? All right, anybody else want to take on that unconscious bias? No. All right. So our industry has long been considered male dominated in leadership roles, yet the majority of realtors are women. What can we be doing differently as a real estate community? What do you think we can do differently to elevate women into leadership roles? And by the way, I want to make a comment that is one thing that really attracted me to Corcoran Global Living in particular, was that I looked at the leadership team. It was equally balanced and diverse. That was something that was really important to me. But what can we be doing, do you think, out there to encourage women to step up and to be more in leadership roles? Jerry, go for it.
There are plenty of ways for us to empower women in real estate. As leaders, we have to bring out the best in women, and help them to become leaders within their communities, industries, and even personal lives, you know. And as you said, I'm so grateful and proud of Corcoran Global Living, of having so many women in leadership roles. I think that the biggest reason we need more women in organizational leadership role is because the world needs the diversity, and women have a new original ideas and perspectives.
Yeah. You know, one thing that Michelle touched on was mentorship, right? And I have long believed in mentors. I hired a business coach who was a woman to help me do some soul searching and navigation myself. So let me ask you this, and Betsy, we can go with you. Did you have a mentor along the way, and what did that do to help you? And here's the thing, mentors can be men too. I certainly have had my fair share of male mentors along the way as well.
Yeah, I've actually been really blessed. As I said, my father had been in the business for years, and he's been an amazing leader in the industry, very well known, and a really good mentor. At the same time, my mom, being an educator in the community, same thing. I mean, I come from a teaching kind of background that's been ingrained for me my whole entire life. It's the way we've raised our kids. We're teachers, we're educating them. And I think that's a big part of being a good leader. And the team that surrounds us, our associates, the staff, everybody, they're all teaching me as well. And so those people that we're around on a daily basis, constantly questioning, asking opinions of, it's allowing us to be who we are and become better at what we're doing. So I kind of feel not only is both Heidi and Bill have been great mentors, but all of those people that we've been in contact with and over these years have been amazing mentors as well. Whether it's been good or bad experiences, we're all learning from them.
Yeah. Maria, go Michelle, go for it.
I was going to add, Nancy, that giving women opportunities to show leadership is one of the best ways that you can help to elevate women in leadership positions. For instance, it's often said, women don't have the right kind of experience. And if you are someone who has spent their most of their or their entire professional career in real estate, you may not have a managing background, or you may not have a background with any other kinds of experience except for being in real estate sales. So giving women the opportunity to show that they can lead in small ways will help to bolster their resume and help to give them opportunity to rise to higher positions in leadership. So that is something very tangible that can be done. If you are a woman in a leadership position, extending that hand out to another woman to help her up will help us all to get that diversity that I think is so needed in our industry. Having diversity does help everyone. Women, including men, having those opinions of women can change the dynamic in a group, can change the dynamic. My brother actually comes from a professional soccer background, and he and I were doing something in the community. In our community, we do holiday lights, where everyone does kind of a matching kind of holiday decoration. And on my street, I started doing these arches, which you create with these PVC tubes, and they go across the sidewalk, and then you wrap them with holiday lights. And I asked my brother, hey, we're going to do this for some neighbors. It was a promotion I was doing for my real estate business. And I said, would you help me with that? He's 10 years younger than me. And I said, would you help me with it? And he said, yeah, I will. And I had to run back in the house to get something. And he started out putting out our lights. And I saw that he had gotten a ladder out, and he was standing on the ladder to try and put the lights on the arch. And I said to him, why don't you take it down first and then wrap the lights around it? And he said, you know what, sis? He said, studies have shown when you add women into your team, you elevate your tactical, right? Because you get a different perspective. I'm like, I'm not standing on a ladder, put it on the ground.
I was thinking of that moment in Mulan where she wraps the thing around and works smarter, not harder.
That's exactly right. And it helps everyone. It elevates the entire team.
By the way, whenever I take a Disney princess test, I always come out as Mulan.
Can I just add, Michelle, I think that's great points about giving opportunities for women, but I also think the counter side needs to be made, which is that women need to be better as a whole at taking the opportunities that they're presented. You know, I have a background in economics. That was what I studied during undergrad at UCLA. And I find the wage gap to be very fascinating, right? And I've read articles before that part of the reason why there's still a wage gap currently is women are statistically less likely to apply for jobs than men are unless they meet all of the qualifications. Men are more likely to apply when they meet some, but not all. Women typically only apply if they meet all of the qualifications, and they're also less likely to negotiate salary. And that's really part of why women, you know, certainly some of it's bias, but also some of it is women holding themselves back by not taking those risks. So I think maybe both combined can hopefully change the world eventually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got to be better at knowing those statistics and understanding that. I'll never forget the day that I marched into one of my branch managers' offices and I said, "Hey, they're offering a higher split over here." And he was looking at me like, "Okay, but you didn't sell anything last year, just so you know." And I'm like, "So? What are you trying to say? I don't care." And you really have to just decide, know that about, those statistics and throw those old ideas out the window. Ask for it just because you want it.
Well, and it's also goes back to helping each other out and reaching and helping each other up, right? And I'll never forget, I had my first two kids, my boys, and I was in a mommy and me swim class, and I met a woman named Sheila Zart, and she was an agent. And I had talked to my agent who helped me buy my house. And she said, "Oh, it's a really difficult career for a new mom." And I'm like, "Really? It doesn't seem like it, but okay," right? So I'm in this mommy and me swim class and I meet Sheila. And Sheila, it was a successful agent. And I said, "Well, Jean said that it was a tough career for a mom." And she said, "Not at all. I don't know what she was talking." And so Sheila really gave me that hand up that I really desperately needed, as somebody saying, this is a great career for a mom, and especially mom who is starting their family, right? And I'll tell you, I have met some amazing women who have their best years ever. Shout out to Samantha Haler in our Randall, which office? She's in Noe Valley. Yeah.
Yes, she's in
And
Noe.
Samantha just had her first baby and had one of her best years ever. And great job, Samantha. And, here's the thing, you can do both, right? Work-life balance can happen. And this is an amazing career for that. Betsy, you talked about being a real estate brat or prodigy, whatever you want to look at it. And, I don't know if any of my kids will go into real estate for, share of, post-traumatic stress disorder, but they certainly have grown up in the business watching their parents, right? So that leads me to this. What has 2020 taught you, and what have you done to adapt? Because I want this to be very educational for all of our folks that are watching. So what have you done in 2020 to thrive? Because here's the deal. All of you were chosen because you're successful at what you're doing. And I want you to be able to impart some wisdom for our folks listening.
What I've loved about 2020 and kind of being in a little more of a lockdown mode is it actually allowed me to have time to focus on me, spending less time in the car, driving kids from one place to the other or picking up from school, whatever it is. Just even that extra half hour, 45 minutes that I could work out or go for a walk in the morning or cook dinner even, which never have had time for in the past. So it's been a real awakening. It's an awakening, really, in that I can take that time for myself, which has been really important in my work life, my personal life, everything, because it affects it all.
It does. It affects it all. It affects it all. So true.
I learned to be patient. And what I learned is that life is a journey. So choose your path. Don't give up. Don't give up. And believe in yourself. And while I was locked in, at home, I started thinking about it. What path do I want to take? Sit here and just be miserable about what happened? No. I was in constant contact with my business partner, my operation manager, and all the associates in our office, and giving them the hopes that everything is going to be over. Everything is going to come out well. So, and work on yourself. Enjoy the moments with your family. Enjoy the life, because it's not guaranteed. Look what happened. So that was a very good lesson to all of us, just being by ourselves and think what we really want in life. You want to be you want to be miserable about what happened, or you just want to look forward and move forward with life.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. One thing that I have discovered is that I think that when we come through this year, the important thing is connection. And I think that that's so important with each other in our businesses, right? Connecting with our past clients and really connecting, not the, oh, I sent them a postcard connecting, the reach out connect of, hey, thinking about you guys, how's everything going? It's a call, it's that voice to voice. I turn 50 next year, and staring down 50 last year during this kind of freaked me out. And so one of the things that I was finding is in our busy lives is missing that connection, right? And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do 50 hikes with 50 different people by my 50th birthday. And one of the reasons I laid down this challenge for myself was because how many times do we say, oh my God, Betsy, so great to see you? Or, when we run into each other at the grocery store, we should get together. And then we never do, right? Life is busy. Life gets busy, and we don't have those personal connections. So that was the thing I was tired of doing, is saying to my friends, my family, past clients, everything, I'm so busy, right, that I don't have time for those connections. And it's been a wonderful thing. And I think for me, coming out of 2020, that's one thing that I've really come to, I think it's a blessing to us all, is the realization that we need to connect more, and Betsy to make dinner more. So anybody else on that topic? What has 2020 taught you, and what have you done to adapt?
Sure. For me, it was like an eye-opener. Before it was, we have to go to the office to make sure we work, to make sure we're successful. But being forced basically to be home taught us that, we do need to connect with ourselves, which we had a huge personal growth year in 2020, my husband and I, and that benefit our baby so much. But at the same time, finding ways to leverage our business and make it more efficient, where we work less, make more, finding those new ways to streamline that. So that helped us tremendously as well. And just being home and enjoying the little things, enjoying our home, enjoying each other, eating healthier because we're home, we're cooking here. So it was a huge breakthrough year for us. And now we know a different way of doing business. So there's really no need to leave the house.
Although I can't wait to leave the house. So
Nancy, for me, 2020 was about remembering to embrace change, right? It was so difficult. It came on all of a sudden. But we, all of us had to accept that a big change was coming to us. And part of that for me was adapting my business, changing my business, and things that I was afraid to do. I decided in 2020, I was going to accept that the world around me was going to change, and I needed to change with that. 2020 was actually my best year in real estate. And the things that I have done to change that were to be more active on social media, to embrace video, which is hard because I don't like to see myself on camera. To be more present for my friends and followers on social media. and really try and leave all of the negative behind and just do it. And that was a big change for me. It was very challenging, but it was something that I had to do. I think we all had to do, was to accept and adapt. And it's something that if you've, been in the business since, the 2008, market, we all had to change our businesses then. And this was just another, reminder that as realtors, we always have to be adaptable in our business, and to embrace those things, even if we didn't, originally want to do it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I have Natalie on here. Natalie Sharpenberg is actually in our marketing department. And I didn't mean to purposefully ignore Natalie. She's actually coming on to talk about Women's History Month and what we're doing for it from a marketing perspective. And in fact, I was getting texts at Natalie. People are like, did you forget about Natalie? And I didn't. So sorry, Natalie, if you felt rejected down there.
That was my bad, actually. So thanks for letting me pop on real quick, because we actually have a super exciting comprehensive marketing campaign that we are going to be doing this entire month in honor of Women's History Month. We are actually going to be celebrating all of the wonderful women that we have in leadership roles within our company, because we have a lot. So a few of the things that we are going to be doing, and we are actually going to be rolling out some of the marketing assets, like 1 or 2 each week, just so that we're keeping it fresh, relevant, top of mind, and in front of everyone all month long. So we have 2 website pages that we are actually creating. One is going to live under our Be With CGL recruiting website, and then one is actually going to be on our corcorangl.com website. That is going to feature every single one of the women that we have in leadership. So it's going to be a really great place for people to go and see all of the wonderful people that we have working in our company. We also are doing a social media campaign where every single woman is going to get her own photo post. We're going to do a little intro, probably going to be 1 to 2 a day. But we are doing an individual post for each woman, so that she can share on her own social. So we have that shareable social media piece. And then we also are doing a PR release that's coming out on Thursday, as well as a video by Tyler that should be, I think we're releasing it I think it's going to be next week, actually. So we have a bunch of really great marketing pieces to look forward to. We have 2 hashtags on social media, so that if you are sharing this content, please do use them. One is Women Up CGL, and then the other is Women Leading CGL. So we look forward to interacting with everybody as we share this, and we just look forward to highlighting everyone that we work with. Our marketing team really came together to create so many different pieces for you guys. So yep, that's it.
Thank you, Natalie. And here's the thing is, again, for everyone listening, I think that I think another thing that's come out of the pandemic is that people are caring who they're doing business with.
Absolutely.
Right? They are really researching companies, and they're looking at, and you're seeing all these emerging brands and emerging companies coming out in different spaces. My 18-year-old wanted a pair of shoes called No Bull, and for Christmas. And for those of you who've heard of No Bull, it's a whole new line of footwear for the gym that are super popular, right? So there's all this stuff emerging out there, and people care. They care about the social consciousness of a company more than ever. And so what Natalie's creating, and we're so excited for you, Natalie, by the way, what Natalie and the team is creating is something really special and should be celebrated. Because let's face it, if you look at the decision makers of who's purchasing a home, right? women are very involved with that decision. You know, if you look over the past 20 plus years, you know, sure, you've been a sales associate 20 years ago, and it's not so much, you know, the man making the decision on the home purchase, right? Women are really involved in that. You think of the leaps and bounds we've come through, you know, lending and women being able to even get loans on their own. You know, women are a very important decision maker in the decision to purchase real estate. So don't forget that. So even if you're a man and you want to do some marketing, I think utilizing what we're doing for Women's History Month is a really cool thing. And I think that it will definitely attract people to you when you acknowledge and celebrate that. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Natalie.
Yes, no problem. And if anyone has any questions about the campaign, they're free to email me at natalie.sharpenberg@corcorangl.com. I would be happy to provide some additional information. So yeah, happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. You know, so I leave you some closing thoughts. And again, our panelists feel free to chime in here too. We have to be our biggest champions. I think it was, Kristin, was it you who said that the vast majority of women, or the studies have shown when they're applying for jobs, they have to meet all the criteria, right? Men sometimes will take a bigger leap of faith or risk in that department. So we need to be our biggest champions. You know, another thing is we can't rely on anyone else, right? We own our own destiny. And so to Michelle's point, you know, stand up, reach out, right? Take control of your future. No one is going to give you a hand up here. And, you know, the question is, who do you want to be, right? Whether it's a woman looking to take on a leadership role, what do you want that to look like? What kind of leader do you want to be? And when we say leader, a sales associate is a leader, right? You're a leader in your own community. You live in a glass house now, right? People do business with you for who you are, right? It's not so transaction based. And again, I'm super excited to work for a company and all of you to be affiliated with a company that values diversity and inclusion, because I think now more than ever, that is so incredibly important. People make the difference. They absolutely do each and every day. People make the difference in a company. So, Randall, do we have any questions in here?
There are no questions.
I see it's spiraling. It's going fast.
You guys hit all the points, and what a great panel today. It was a joy to hear everybody.
Thank you.
I did a question about reaching out to us, and I just want to say that, especially with the new NAR Code of Ethics Standard of Practice 10.5 prohibiting harassing speech, including on the basis of sex and gender. If you ever have any issues with that, please feel free to reach out to me. Same thing too with fair housing. That includes on the basis of gender, but you know, really for any issue.
Yeah.
I'm open if anybody wants to reach out to me.
Natalie, can you put the hashtags are for all panelists. Could you possibly say what they are again, or put them for all attendees? We had a question on that.
Yep, I actually just submitted it to everybody, so everyone should see those hashtags in the chat.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, I wanted to say thank you. Happy Monday, happy beginning of March, happy Women History Month, and I think we got it kicked off to a great start. So thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you, Randall, for being here with us. Thank you, Natalie, for all your help. And of course, thank you, HUD and the IT team for your support as well.